This is not a scene from the latest Hollywood movie, but a real-life ghost town that lay empty in China. A few days back, China's President Xi Jinping was witnessed celebrating the 10th anniversary of its Belt and Road Initiative, a global infrastructure development project that focuses on connecting more than 150 countries through roads. However, when you look at China's own backyard, more than 50 million homes in the country are staying deserted. That's more than 12% of the entire number of houses in the country. It's like a zombie land where buying a house could become the biggest mistake of your life. So what's happening with China's horrifying housing crisis? And how did all this happen? Stick with us till the end because we'll also be discussing how China can attract buyers and fill these ghost towns with happy families. To understand the beginning of its crises, let's rewind back to the year 2012, when Andrew Left, a short seller and activist, was looking at the balance sheet of China's second-largest property developer, Evergrand.
I was tipped off by someone, and then after I spoke to different, funds out there, it's not been a big secret. It didn't come on. It's not like when Bear Stearns happened and how did this happen, no one really knew.
Within a few minutes of his analysis, he was astonished to discover a warning sign that could soon engulf the majority of China's population. The company had $12 billion in liabilities, and his intuition believed that in the coming years, this company would have no other option than to file for bankruptcy. Now, the reason why this company could shake the entire housing market is that Evergrand has developed 1,300 projects in more than 280 cities in mainland China. Moreover, instead of investing in the stock market, more than 70% of China's population invest around 80% of their income on real estate. And the majority of Evergrand customers are middle-class individuals, which means any form of mismanagement in this company could directly affect the majority of China's population. Take Mrs. Guo, for example. In 2021, Guo and her husband, who are in their 60s, decided to buy a $30,000 apartment from Evergrand. Although the house was yet to be built by the company, they still decided to pledge 75% of their income as a mortgage for the next 30 years, because for the last 2 decades, they've seen the housing market only going up. On top of this, they were dealing with the second-largest property developer in the country, which makes the deal more convincing, right? Well, what was about to happen next was never imagined by anyone. You see, in 2016, Andrew published a critical report about Evergrand to warn the investors. His report described how its leaders are diverting investors' money in areas without expertise. Specifically speaking, the real estate giant acquired this football team to establish the presence of the Chinese football team worldwide. Furthermore, Evergrand declared to develop a $1.8 billion football stadium that could accommodate around 100,000 people at once. On the other hand, they stepped foot in the movie industry by creating a film production company called Hang Ten, their own mineral water brand for 5.5 billion yuan, and also invested in tourism, automotive, health, and agriculture industries. However, instead of investigating the business activities of Evergrand, the Hong Kong Market Misconduct Tribunal suspended Andrew from publishing this report. They blamed him for releasing false and misleading information with the objective of influencing transactions in his favor. But just like the 2008 incident, Andrew's predictions were right on its target. In the summer of 2021, Evergrand officially filed for bankruptcy by stating that it was unable to complete pending projects. Surprisingly, the level of debt that Andrew estimated was much higher than what he imagined, because when the investigation was conducted, the real estate giant was found to have $300 billion debt instead of the $12 billion estimated by Andrew. Soon, its share price sank from 31 Hong Kong dollars to just 1.16. As Evergrande had $1 trillion worth of unfinished projects, which left more than 1.5 million people without their homes, the fall of this giant also dragged China's economy to the ground, as around 29% of China's GDP is dependent on real estate. However, this was just the beginning. With the ugly truth coming forward, other real estate developers have now begun showing their colors. In other words, one of the largest private property developers, Country Garden, has now posted a record loss of $6.7 billion. The experts have found that they've sold around 1 million homes that are still not complete. On the other hand, Evergrande revealed that they've incurred $81 billion loss in the last 2 years. That's even bigger than last year, which stood at around $66 billion of loss. To sum up, China's property developers collectively owe more than $390 billion. Surprisingly, all of this happened in the second largest economy in the world, a country whose GDP is equal to Japan, Germany, India, the United Kingdom, and France combined. But the biggest question is, how did China regulators let this happen? You see, due to the sudden boom in urbanization in 1994, there was enormous demand from buyers. So in order to meet this demand on time, the real estate regulators adopted a business model which the developers were allowed to sell apartments before they were complete. Luckily, this model worked for decades, and the regulators were also able to generate enough money for the economy by charging developers for the land. But as they failed to keep a close check on their second largest real estate developer, its crises have now damaged China's housing market from within. As a result, citizens are now refusing to make payments to Evergrand so that more pressure could be imposed on the company as well as the government to complete their projects. Even if banks force the buyers to pay the mortgage, they're ready to sleep in the lobby of the bank but will not pay the mortgage. Mrs. Guo said, "We bought the apartment for the future of our only child, but now I feel sorry for my son and myself." Nevertheless, it seems China's regulators are making efforts to fill these creepy ghost towns. For example, they recently issued a notification in which they ask real estate agents to reduce their level of commission and not call or message the buyer for a deal. This is to ensure buyers don't get irritated before developing an interest. However, the biggest step the Chinese government should take is to reduce the prices of apartments to attract more buyers, because property developers are allowed to give a maximum discount of 15%. But if the regulators can allow more, then it would not only help in recovering the market, but also build more confidence in buyers. So what are your views about China's housing crises? Do you think they'll recover from this crisis in 2024? Tell us in the comments section below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and press the like button if you like this video. Thank you for watching.